Hello, welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my Asexual Life. This is supposed to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live right now or post a new video. In a moment, we're going to be discussing the not everybody is going to like you. But what do you do if you want people to like you? Because no one owes you, and it's a difficult truth, no one owes you friendship. No one owes you connection. We're going to be discovering more about what I mean in just a few moments. But first of all, if you didn't know who I am Sandra, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Stories book. It's a real life stories, and they're told in the form of interview questions, so you can find out exactly your answers to all your asexuality questions when you first come to learn about asexuality in the spectrum. I'm also the author of Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook, How to Manage Fibromyalgia to Have Less Pain, More Energy and Feel Happier Like a Superhero Rock Star. So let's get into tonight's video. So yes, like I said, no one owes you friendship or connection. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because one of my asexual friends, and also someone who posted in one of the asexual groups, particularly the person who posted in the asexual groups. So first of all, I'll talk about my asexual friend. My asexual friend was a bit upset that someone who they connected to, someone who they messaged to, they're asexual, didn't respond in the way they wish they had done. So they didn't continue the conversation with my asexual friend, right? And this upset them a bit, and they're like, oh, they don't care, right? And so this other person, who's a different asexual, on my friends list, I believe, they are in a group, and they're posting that, oh, no one wants to talk to me, and basically people are just bad, right? Okay, right? And now, what do you think the reaction was to that person who basically said, no one wants to talk to me, people are just bad, or words to that effect, right? Do you think that person's going to have people want to talk to them? Do you think that person who decides to lash out like that is going to be a very approachable person? I know this person, they're not a horrible person. So I wouldn't say they're not approachable, but the way it comes across, especially to people who don't know them, is though why would you want to talk to that person if they're saying, no one wants to speak to me and everyone's bad, people are bad, right? People are not bad. People are different, right? There are some people that aren't good people in terms of they're not good in their behavior. They might be abusive and that type of thing, right? But overall, as a general statement saying people are bad, like everyone's bad, is not a good idea to do, right? So if you're an asexual person who's really feeling lonely and you're feeling like you want connection, you want friendship and companionship, you have to go about it in the right way, right? First of all, you have to approach people, right? But you have to approach people from the point of view that you might not get what you wanted out of the connection or the potential friendship, right? You should go with the expectation that you'd like to get to know someone, but you're okay if they don't want to know you back, right? Because no one owes you friendship, no one owes you connection. And as harsh as that may seem, it's true. Why do you think that every time you go in someone's inbox, they've automatically got to like you, connect with you, or answer you and interact with you, right? It doesn't work that way, right? I get people who don't want to talk to me. I might message them several messages and they just don't carry on the conversation, right? I don't continue those conversations with those people who can't be bothered to continue the conversation with me. My time is precious, and if they do not value my time, if they do not value my worth, then those people aren't worth my value and time, right? That's the same for you. If people don't value your time, value your worth, if they don't appreciate you, then you move on. Don't have the mindset that everyone you talk to should care about you. Why should they care? They don't know you a lot of the time. You're coming in their inbox, you're a stranger, right? What is it about you that people should care about? Why should people care about you? It's a very important question to ask yourself, right? There's no right or wrong answer in that, but there is an answer, right? If you don't know why people should care about you, right? What's the reason behind it? What's good about you, in other words? What do you like about yourself? What can you offer them? If you don't know the answer to that at all, then you've got some work to do on yourself, right? But no one owes you connection or friendship. There's going to be people who don't like you. There's going to be people who don't want to connect with you. There's going to be people who are going to be grateful that you popped in their inbox, spoke to them for a little bit, and never want to speak to you again. There's going to be people that might carry on the conversation for some time with you, backwards and forwards. They may be like even a really good close friend. And then all of a sudden, they stop talking to you, right? Don't take this to mean that it's all your fault and that everything's bad about you and you're such a bad person, right? These people have their own problems, issues, and life to deal with. Some people are only meant to be connected or friends for a short period of time in their life. And then we have to let each other go. It's really sad sometimes, but it happens. And sometimes it's very healthy for people to just move on when the relationship or friendship or connection is strained, when it's no longer healthy, when people are forcing themselves to communicate. Because, I mean, what do you want? People in your inbox that are forcing themselves to talk to you because you think they should care about you and connect with you, or people who really want to be in your inbox, messaging you, talking to you. Now, do not mistake this for not being assertive. So it's perfectly fine to, go in someone's and proactive, go in someone's inbox, right? Be proactive about it. Some people do not like private messages unannounced, right? So if you're in a group, check the group rules for a start, because some asexual groups now they're getting very strict about not speaking to people not private messaging people unless you spoke to that person in the group first, left a comment on their post, some mark of measurement that you've actually interacted with them somewhere down the line before you PM them, right? That's some of the, in my dating groups, my asexual dating groups, I encourage people to private message each other outside the group. I think, I don't need to be like a mother or dad to them, if they're old enough to be able to, approach someone in someone's inbox. A person can block them if they want, if they don't want to know them, or chat to them or whatever they want to do, right? I think people are adults. And in my opinion, they can be left to their own freedoms like that. And if it's a dating group, I encourage it, right? Because I think it's all about being proactive and taking an opportunity. If a person doesn't like a DM, to me, why are you in a dating group? Because dating is all about being in other people's, each other's inboxes and messaging each other and getting to know each other. If a person can't even be bothered to do that, then I would say, friendship, connection, relationship, it's pretty much dead in the water a lot of the time. But we've all got boundaries and we've all got ways that we like to do things. Maybe people have been harassed online. Maybe people are just really uncomfortable with unsolicited messages. So we've got to respect that. Not everyone's of the same opinion as me. Not everyone's the same. In my groups, I allow people to PM, but it's up to the person whose inbox you message as to whether that person's receptive to it or not, whether they just think, oh God, why are you sending me a message and I've never heard of you before, right? So you've got to bear these things in mind. Everyone has different boundaries, different ways of doing things. Groups have different ways of doing things, But some people, I had one guy who said he was lonely and depressed and no one liked him and no one wanted to talk to him. I went in his inbox. I started messaging him. I was doing all the work messaging him. He wasn't hardly saying anything. I said to him in the conversation, I said, well, it'd be nice if you said something back to me too and kind of carried on the conversation. He's going, oh, I'm working my way up to it. And that was it, period. He's never spoke to me since. I've actually seen him in a dating group that I'm in that's not for asexuals, because I am in some Facebook groups that are not for asexuals as well as asexual dating groups, but asexual Facebook groups and run groups of my own that are asexual, right? So you have to understand that people do it to me too, right? Some people, I'll be like so amazed by the fact I'm talking to them. They'll know me from YouTube. They'll like be, wow, to get to speak to her in private message just for a few minutes is incredible. She's given some of her precious time, and I know she spends hours on YouTube. I see her on Facebook. I know she writes books. I know she's doing this, that, and the other. She's a really busy girl. To give me some of her time is really precious, and I cherish that. I'm so pleased that she's done that, and I honor that, and I value that, right? That will be one person. Then you'll get another person who just seems to think I've got nothing better to do with my time than sit there messaging them, doesn't appreciate me, takes me for granted, thinks, oh, it's, you know, like not even bothered about me, you know, and they might not even want to get to know me, you know. So just because I am a bit known on YouTube doesn't mean to say that people don't treat me differently. Some people treat me with like, oh my God, I'm speaking to her, I've seen her loads. And other people are like, oh, whatever, you know, not even bothered about talking to me, you know? And so it's best to understand that you need to get round the people who value, respect you, and want you in their life. It's no good carrying on conversations with people who don't want to continue the conversation with you because they're not valuing your worth. You have to walk away from those people, right? Don't think just because you've messaged someone who's never heard of you before that that person's going to want to talk to you, want to communicate with you, owes you friendship, owes you connection. Why? Right? Why do they don't owe you anything? No one owes nothing. No one owes anyone anything. Right? Even in a relationship, you've got to understand you're two individual people. Same as friendships or connection. You're two individual people with your own individual needs, right? And they just might not match up. Some people don't vibe with certain people. Some people vibe better than others. I got one guy, asexual guy. I wanted to connect with him on Facebook. I saw him on book.net, right? This is quite a long time ago now, quite a few years ago. And I want to connect with him on Facebook. I sent him a friend request. He messaged me and said, I'm not going to set your friend's request because I don't like people posting inspirational stuff on their Facebook page. So basically, he didn't want to know me because I post inspirational stuff. He didn't want to see inspirational, positive stuff. He hated it. Right? To me, that's pretty crazy because there's enough misery and sadness in the world. There's a lot of dark things that go on, you know, that go on in the news and stuff. And, you know, spreading positivity and light and happiness and inspiration to me is just amazing if you've got the ability to do that, especially in these difficult times, right? But he told me blatantly straight up that he didn't like that. And so he wouldn't be connecting with me. He wouldn't be agreeing to be my friend, didn't want anything more to do with me. Was I hurt at the time? I was a little bit hurt in terms of I was a little bit, you know, like miffed. I'm like, oh, wow, you know. But he did me a favor because there's no point in connecting or being friends with someone or continuing conversation with someone who's not really going to vibe with you. It's not really going to be like-minded with you. Because if you've got someone who's, for example, wants to talk about dark things, wants to be negative, wants to be cynical, wants to be pessimistic, wants to be all these negative emotions, and you're a person who likes to be optimistic, positive, and stuff like that, then you don't want that person dragging you down to be depressive and to be miserable and to talk about depressive stuff and to talk about, you know, like negative thoughts and criticism and being cynical. You don't want that type of person in your life. Similarly, he probably didn't want me in his life because I was too positive and he liked being cynical and pessimistic and hated positivity because he thought something was drastically wrong with it because it's probably not how normal people live or something. I don't know. He didn't really say, just said he didn't like those type of people. Right? So no one owes you friendship. No one owes you connection. No one owes you a relationship, right? And everything kind of has to be earned in a certain way, right? You have to be able to earn someone's trust before they want to really be connected to you, right? Some people might trust very quickly. Others will take a long time. One of the things you do, you know, obviously to gain trust is build rapport. This means to ask questions. People love being asked questions about themselves usually. So once you've got in someone's inbox, you're approaching them and talking to them, start asking them questions about their self, right? And start asking them more and more questions. So people love talking about themselves, but there comes a point when they should be asking you questions about yourself. Now, if you're asking all the questions about themselves, it means you're interested in them, but they're not really interested in you. It might be that you've just quickly rambled a load of questions off and the other person hasn't got time to actually ask you anything or can't really think of anything because you're so busy asking them stuff, right? But if say like it carries on the conversation, say you've had a conversation where one person has been talking more than the other, you go to the next conversation and it keeps happening, That's not going to be good. It's all going to be one-sided friendship, one-sided connection, one-sided relationship. It's not going to be healthy, right? Because you're just going to feel like hard done by. You're going to end up resenting the person. You're going to end up feeling like, God, they just, like, I'm putting all the effort in here. Why aren't they? So you have to let these people go. You have to let them know what the behavior is like. Oh, I'd love it if you interacted with me more. I'd love it if you asked me more questions. It'd be really nice. Right, but if they still, in a way, that's difficult, because then they'll probably feel like obliged to do that with you, right? If they feel obliged, if it's out of obligation they're doing that, this is not a good thing. But some people just genuinely don't realize they don't do that, right? So in which case you're being assertive and you're actually saying what you want. So if someone's giving you a behavior that to you is not very good, it's not acceptable, or it's just like you think it'd be nicer if they improved, you have to tell the person what behavior they got, what mannerisms, what they said to you that wasn't nice for you, that didn't feel comfortable for you, or that wasn't good, right? And you don't even have to say, oh, I don't like your behavior. All you have to do is say, like, say they are not really asking you any questions. All you have to do is say something simple like, I'd be lovely if you asked me some questions. Like, you can even say, is there anything you'd like to ask me? Because they might not have thought about it. So it's always a difficult one where you're trying to ask someone or suggest something to someone to kind of make the friendship, connection, or relationship potential relationship possibly go further. But then they because they might start feeling like they've got to do it because you want it, right? Rather than because they're doing it because they want it. So if you get the impression that they really don't care about you, then move on. Like sometimes people are just at different stages in their life, right? They just like different hobbies, different interests, different things, and you just have to part sometimes. You just like, if you just imagine if every person you met, right, you met and they met you, you felt you owed each other a connection, friendship, or a possible relationship, right? One of the three, right? And every person you met was like, just imagine you would never have any sleep. Imagine if you connected to someone at a supermarket, in a college course, in an online course, in an online forum, in real, in on holiday. Just imagine if every person you connected with, everyone in your life, always stay connected with you. I mean, you'd end up with hundreds probably of people. And, you wouldn't be able to do anything. You wouldn't have a life. So you should be grateful and thankful of a lot of the people that weed themselves out from your friendship list or from your connection list or from a potential relationship with you. Because your time is precious and valuable. And maybe you're not working right now. When you're not working, you notice it a lot more because you are not being kind of like busy with your own thing, right? If you go to work for a full-time job, and you come home, you're probably really tired, going to eat, maybe watch some TV or a movie or something, maybe chat to some friends, and then you'll probably go to bed very soon, right? So you won't notice it if people are not messaging you back. Imagine if you then went to that job and you came home and you were really tired, and there was all the people you spoke to, like say you spoke to like 25 people in a week or something, and they were all messaging you. When would you get any sleep? Like I said, just imagine all the people who stayed in your inbox, who you messaged. Just imagine if they did stay friends with you. You wouldn't be able to, like going to a job would be really difficult. Trying to message them all back would be really difficult. Trying to maintain all those connections would be difficult. You'd have some people interested in a relationship with you. You wouldn't be interested in them, and vice versa. And your life would get a lot more complicated, right? So you've got to understand that every time you take on a friendship or connection or possible relationship, you are actually taking on kind of a responsibility. Right. And sometimes you're not going to be able to handle all that responsibility. And it's kind of a gift from the universe, if you like, to say, hey, you're not going to want to be friends with all these people and talk to all these people. So you're not going to have the time. You're not going to have a life of your own. So there's going to be certain people that are going to slip through that, certain people that you're going to message once or twice, and then that's going to be it. You're never going to hear from them again. Right. And so it's actually a blessing in disguise. What you need is like just a handful of really good friends, that you can always confide in, that you can go to, that you can talk to, who are with you through thick and thin, through good and bad. You might be able to count them on one hand or possibly two, right? But these are your core close friendships, like people who really care about you, people who want you in their life, people who want to message you, people who want to talk to you, people who want to be with you, right? So it's a good thing that not everyone carries on the connection, right? And you've got to understand that it works both ways. You don't owe anyone else connection or friendship. Imagine if someone came in your inbox, right? And that attitude was, oh, well, you're not being my friend. You know, you're not connecting with me. You're not being my friend. Just imagine if someone was turning the tables on you like that. And just imagine they came in your inbox and quite frankly, there was something you didn't quite feel right about them. Maybe they told you about something they didn't like for hunting, for example. Maybe they talked about hunting, right? I hate hunting. I don't agree with hunting animals, right? Personally, I hate it, right? So if someone came in my inbox and started talking to me about hunting, I wouldn't want to really carry on that connection with them. Having said that, I did have an ex-boyfriend whose family were into that. So that was very difficult because I personally hate that. But if someone, if someone, so it's difficult, right? But if you have something that's so against your morals, principles, beliefs, and you can't get over the fact that they do something that you don't do and those differences, then it's going to be very uncomfortable for you to continue the conversation, right? So if they leave your life or you leave their life, it's doing you a favor, right? You don't owe that person friendship. You don't owe that person connection. So just like they don't owe you that, you don't owe them that. And that's good, because why would you want to be owing everyone connection or friendship when you might not like some people that come in your inbox? You might find them rude or very weird, a bit messed up in the head, maybe some of them. You might just find that they're just very, very negative all the time. You might find that some people just say 2 words, you're like, how are you doing? Fine, thanks. So how's your day been? Okay. So what hobbies and interests do you like? Painting. So, okay, tell me what type of things you paint. I don't know right now, can't think. Have you been to any art galleries? Yes. Which art galleries have you been to? I've been to 2. Which 2 are they? They're ones in London. Which one's in London? You know what I mean? This conversation is boring. It's not interactive. It's just it's like a 5-year-old could do, right? You need to be able to be having a conversation that's flowing. So they ask you questions about you ask questions about them. If you get on really well, it should be a case of the time just flies by and you can't do enough. It's not going to be like that in the beginning when you're just getting to know someone. Well, it might be like that in the beginning. Sometimes it is with me. But, when you're just getting to know someone, it's quite common for there to be awkward moments, for people to not kind of know what to say because they don't know you. They need to get used to your aura, to your vibe, to the way you are, to the way you feel in a message, right? And sometimes I have to tell people if I'm not happy with something about them, if they come in my inbox and there's something that just doesn't make me feel comfortable, I will have to say sometimes, say I like them as a person or think there's a lot of good things there and I could probably get on well with them and carry on the connection, but there might be something fundamentally that they will say to me that doesn't feel good. I can tell them about it and I can give them the opportunity to put that right. If they don't do that because it's not who they are and it goes against their own personality, beliefs and whatever, then that's it, isn't it? It's time to call it a day. I was friends with an Indian guy who used to watch his channel. And I was very good friends with him, very close friends with him. But we don't talk anymore. Right? We're not friends anymore. That's gone, It was hard for a little bit, but I just know this person likes to not get too emotionally involved with people. They like to be able to detach from anyone. So it didn't surprise me too much because I just know how they've been, And some people get worried that if they get too attached to someone, even with connection and friendship, that it will make them upset if that person leaves them. So there is also fears and doubts and worries and concerns when a new person comes into their life. They might not want to talk to you that much because they might not want to get hurt. Maybe they do really like you, but they're just scared of getting hurt. That's why a lot of people don't pursue relationships because in order to be able to be strong in this respect, you need to be able to understand and accept rejection. This is going to make your life so much easier if you begin to accept being rejected as not a bad thing, but actually a good thing, a way of sifting out people that are wrong for you to be connected with, to have a potential relationship with or friendship with, right? Rejection is actually a good thing because they are rejecting you, which in effect means you're rejecting them back because you're not suitable for them. They're not suitable for you. And only when this happens can you move on, right? And the sooner this happens, the better. If a person's not going to be a very good friend to you or a very good connection to you, then you need to like move on. If you want friends and no one's talking to you, why is that, right? Why is no one talking to you? Are you posting in groups? Are you sharing stuff in groups? Are you actually caring about other people, or is all what you want to get out of them? Right? Do you just want to be friends so someone can stroke your ego? I know this might sound a bit harsh, but you have to think about these things. Do you want to be friends with someone because you just need someone in your life because you're lonely? Is it coming from a place of need for you? I need me, right? Because if you're approaching any connection and any friendship with just you, or me, right? Rather than the other person, then that's not the way to go out things. A person will pick up on that. A person will feel that that you're kind of like pushing that all the time, right? So you've got to go with the attitude of like, how can I make someone's day better? How can I communicate with someone in a way which shows interest in them, right? So in groups, post questions like, hey, like what's everyone's favorite type of vacation to go on? Beach or city or country. Hey, what type of genre of movies do you like? Hey, everyone, I'm listening to this music. What's your favorite music? And post stuff like this, because if people see you in the community, they see you posting, you kind of get to be like a regular type of person in there who they can feel is really approachable, who they like to be friends with because you're so friendly, and so that's how you can like gain more friends, gain more connections, because people become attracted to people when you act attractive. As in when you act interested in some other people and you care about people and you want to know more about others and you are seen as someone who's like giving value out, as in thinking about other people, not just themselves, then people will be attracted and drawn to that. It's attractive qualities to have. If someone's just like posting once, I'm looking for a boyfriend or a girlfriend and I live in this like Australia or something, it's like, yeah, okay. And do I know you? No. And is that all you're going to put about yourself? Or maybe you've put a few things, but you've just posted once or twice. No one's got to really know you because they just, one of these people, right? The person that, said people were bad because they didn't get anyone talking to them. They're not, I live in a completely different country, this person. I'm not attracted to their gender. So I didn't respond in a way like that, and for me, my time is very precious. I don't spend time trying to collect loads of friends or acquaintances. It just doesn't work like that for me. I'm too busy doing like this channel, writing books, doing admin stuff. I've still got my day job that I'm still doing stuff for, even though I'm off sick at the moment. And so, I do a lot of stuff, right? I was in my club. It was meet up tonight in my Asexual Academy club. I was on over a 2-hour video chat with someone. And so, asexual, obviously. Well, actually, my Asexual Academy club is for asexuals and allies and people who are supportive, right? So you don't have to be asexual to join that club because you can be channel fans, right? asexualize.com if you want to know more about Asexual Academy Club and how to join it and sign up for that membership, right? So, you've got to understand that for me personally, I don't want to go around being in 25 people's inboxes, trying to be friends with them or talk to them. If I get into a deep conversation with someone, it can take hours of my time. There's one asexual guy and we email each other like once a month because it takes a long time for us to do email. Sometimes it takes me 2 to 4 hours to write back to this person, right, by email. And I can't afford to do that all the time. If I had even 5 people doing that, it would be like 5 days, half days work nearly, And so I'm very careful about where I speak to people, how I communicate with them. For me, it's quicker for me to message via Messenger, not to send emails. Emails take so long for me to write out. It's just very difficult for me to. I much prefer, in general, Facebook Messenger, right? If it's possible, right? And then, you know, I like video chatting. To me, video chatting with someone takes less time up overall than it does texting backwards and forwards. Like, I could text for 4 hours. Yeah, I could speak to someone about everything in the 4 hours text in 2 hours in a video call. And I like to see a person. I like to interact with them. I like to be able to like hang out with them. I like that in-person communication and chat. And I still like texts as well. You know, don't get me wrong. I still like text messaging as well. I like all forms of communication, because that's what I'm like. But, you know, you know, some people, like, you know, I might only speak to like infrequently, right? I've got best female friends. She don't talk to me very often, right? She's busy with her partner and her work and all sorts of things, you know, and that's the type of friendship relationship she has with me. But my other two best friends, they message me most days, and I'm really thankful for that, because I actually do really personally, one of my personal needs is a lot of a lot of communication. And that's why these people really are my closest friends, because they like to be in contact as well. You know, like, they don't, maybe not like loads of contact in general with everyone as much, but they do like it from certain people, you know. So, you know, it's, you got to understand that no one owes you friendship, no one owes you relationship, no one owes you connection. You don't know what that person's circumstances are. They could be like me and do so much stuff. They don't have time to message back that much, or they're very selective about who they talk to. And until you've kind of earned the right to be able to be in their inbox and talking to them for a lot of time, or messaging backwards and forwards, they might not spend much time with you, right? I mean, there's one friend that I've got, and I love speaking to them by text, but it got to the stage where it was interrupting both my work and their work, because we were so engrossed in talking to each other that we'd end up 2 hours later, and they were like behind with their work, I was behind with my work, and we didn't, you know, it was affecting each other's work, and we just had to be honest with each other, you know, and say that. So when we do message, it's quite a lot, but we can't message all the time because we don't get our stuff done, right? Because we've both got so many questions, you know, with each other, which is nice. It's a really good backwards and forward conversation. I've not had a video chat with this person yet. I would like to, in the sense, to be a lot quicker for me, and I think it'd be a good idea, but they don't seem that keen. And, you know, every person's different. If they don't seem keen on video chat, I can't like push the issue. Do you know what I mean? I've suggested it once or twice, but, you know, it's kind of like, oh yeah, if I want to do that, I'll let you know, right? So that's the way. They don't want that, right? So, you know, and no one owes me the fact that I've got to video chat with them. Do you know what I mean? But for me personally, if I'm meeting up with an asexual guy one-to-one, not in a group, then I do ask to video chat with them for safety reasons, you know? Like, you know, like, some guys who say they're asexual aren't really asexual. And with guys, I just want to know, you know, because some guys on the more sexual end of the asexual spectrum might get attracted to me, you know. I just prefer, for safety, I just, my own peace of mind, I prefer to video chat first, right? And so it's just, you know, like, really important. So everyone has their own rules, their own ways of work, and their own ways of doing things. And, you know, you just got to understand that rejection is part of the process of trying to connect with people, trying to build friendships with people, trying to have a relationship with someone. You're going to get lots of knockbacks. You're going to get people who are going to chat to you for a little bit and then just not talk to you again. You're going to get people that maybe like comment on your Facebook post loads but never talk to you in private message hardly ever. You'll get people who, and that might be bad for you. Maybe you just want them interacting with your posts. Maybe you don't need to chat to them loads in Messenger because you're not that close to them, right? You know, so you've really got to understand that friendship, connection, or a relationship is a two-way thing, and you've got to understand that what influences the person to connect with you may be very different to what influences you to connect with them or another person, right? So you've got to understand their why. Like, why would they want to connect with you? Maybe they've got enough friends. Maybe they don't need any more. Maybe they just posted in a Facebook group because they wanted some attention, and then, you know, when it came, you know, I do find this. People say they're lonely, got no friends, and you message them, try to be friends with them and they don't want to know. Some people, I guess, are just happy having attention with people on their posts saying, oh, I sympathise with you, I empathise with you, and all this lot. I've seen a guy in a lot of groups, and he isn't, in my opinion, a very good guy, right? He actually blocked me from one of his groups, and, and he was being very insulting, I thought, towards me, right? So anyway, that's fine, I don't think I've been the first person to be blocked in that group. I don't think I'll be the last, but it doesn't matter, right? And this person still comments on my channel very, very occasionally. This person still requested to be in one of my groups, even though he blocked me in his own. And he still goes around telling people, oh, I just can't find someone. And, it's really difficult being asexual. And he's not actually a very nice guy, right? I turned him down in a private message from being in a relationship with him or being interested in that, because I turned him down actually for his friendship on his Facebook. First, kind of because he friend requested me. I said, I just don't like your content. I couldn't be, I can't be friends with someone that content, which was basically like a rejection for him, full stop. And yeah, and so I guess he was probably a bit bitter about that I rejected him. And and he keeps going around in groups getting everyone to feel sorry for him. But I don't feel sorry for him because I don't think he's a particularly nice person, like he goes with whatever he thinks other people want to hear. He, like I said, he wasn't particularly nice with me because I didn't want to be friends with him in his Facebook profile because I didn't like the stuff he was posting. He then decided to, I think, to not be so nice to me. And he's just like literally making everyone feel sorry for him. And clearly it's more like people don't want to get to know him because, it's like he's not particularly nice. Like he's been searching for ages, but, but it's kind of like, I can tell probably why people are not interested. And he wants a long distance online relationship, right? Only, it sounds like. And that's not so good. I know maybe some people are right at, but the majority of the time you're going to want to meet up with the person eventually, right? And he keeps saying he's asexual, but I'm still not actually 100% convinced. But obviously it's up to people how they identify. But I just feel his motives are just slightly strange. For why he said he wants an asexual relationship, it just seems a bit bizarre. Some of the way he speaks about it, And at the end of the day, usually online only relationships don't work out because people eventually need to move. They eventually need to be seeing each other. They eventually need to be moving one towards the other. And so I'm just telling you this because I want you to know that I get rejected too, that I reject others, that that not everyone is going to be your friend or vice versa. You don't owe anyone friendship. They don't owe you it. If someone friends requests you and don't want to be friends with them, you can just say. You can just politely say, look, I thank you for friend requesting me, but I don't think it's going to be a good idea because we're so different or something like that, right? There's a person who friend requested me very recently in the last week, not asexual. She's an entrepreneur group. She friend requested me and we were doing a course together and she's straight away trying to, after something I said in the train, she's trying to pitch me basically to go on a call. I'm like, she goes, oh, can we do a call now? I never asked for her help. I never asked for her services. She was trying to give me advice on something that I probably know a lot more about than she does. Because it's not even anything to do with her niche, because she was trying to give me advice on where to promote books, and I think I'd know a lot better than someone who doesn't seem to have any book out even. And it's like, can we take a call now? It's like, well, no, I can't actually. I'm in the middle of a message, potential customer. And so, and she's like, oh, I didn't realise that. It's like, I said, I didn't ask for your services. I had to tell her straight in the end, like, I don't want services from you. And so I've unfriended her now because that's basically all she was coming in my inbox, is just to see if she could get a service out of me, So you've got to understand that people have different things going on in their lives. People have different needs, wants, desires. people at different stages in their life, at different stages of their business. Some people are trying to sell you in the inbox. Some people are trying to spam you. A spam is just something that's unwanted. So what's spam to one person won't be spam to another, right? So kind of like, I don't really like this word spam very much because it's subjective, right? It's really subjective. A spam is really some unwanted message, right? But like, you know, some person who's like writing 6 emails about a training course to buy, that might be spam to some people, but other people that are really interested in the course and want to know more and want the emails all about it before they buy it and make a purchasing decision, they wouldn't think it's spam. They think it's great and amazing value that they're writing all these posts and describing the product and what it does and how it works and why they created it. You know, so it's two people thinking 2 different things. One thinks it's spam and one thinks it's really valuable information, unique, you know, really uniquely insightful, right? Same event, 2 different perspectives. So when someone messages you or you message them, then they might have a completely different perspective on the conversation than what you have. And you have to bear this in mind. Because like I said at the beginning of this video, no one owes you connection or communication. You do not owe it to them either. Right? If you get a vibe from that person that's really not going to be good for you to be friends with, really not going to feel great, really not your type of person, then just leave them be or defriend them more. If you need to block them, right? But you can't be an adult about it a lot of the time and just say, you know, like, I've decided it's not going to work out. So it's, you know, I think we're better off like seeing other people as friends or connecting with other people. Wish you the best of luck, right? Wish them luck, right? And you know, move on with your life, right? But if you are expecting people to just like you because you like you, you know, it doesn't work like that. Some people are thinking, God, I don't know why they don't want to talk to me or don't like me because I think I'm great, because I love me. I really do love spending time with me, genuinely, on my own. I love spending time with myself. I love my quirky personality. I love listening to myself. I do, from a place of self-love. And, you know, I kind of get a bit shocked sometimes when other people are not like that. I'm like, oh, right, okay, but I just think you're missing out, you know? And that's up to you. I mean, really, they might not be missing out. They might think, God, who is this crazy girl on YouTube? And I don't want anything to do with her, right? And so I'd rather not be connected to her, right? But other people, you know, like, might be like, God, I really want to connect with her. Like, I'm missing out. One person be like, I'm not missing anything. Other person, I'm missing out. Right, so we all have our different perceptions of conversations, of people. Some people love the fact to talk loud and bubbly and hyper. Other people hate it. They're like, oh my God, can you stop like talking so loudly, you know? So you've got to understand that you're not here in life to be liked by everyone. You're here to connect with everyone. And you need to make an effort to help people to get to know you and to get to know other people. Sometimes you might just write statements. So if you're in someone's inbox and someone tells you about themselves and you say, that's nice, and then you don't ask a question straight away afterwards, you know, sometimes there's nowhere for the conversation to go. So for example, you said to someone like, where's your favorite holiday destination? And they say it's Turkey. And they're like, oh, well, when did you last go there? I went back in March. And like, how was it for you? Like, I really enjoyed it. Like, that could be the end of the conversation, because it could be like, but then you can ask them like, what did you enjoy about it? I like blah blah blah, you know. But you could just make a statement then saying, oh, that's nice, and again the conversation's not going anywhere because no one's asked each other a question, right? Conversations and connections usually rely on 2 people asking questions about the other person and talking about themselves. So you can offer information about yourself, share things about yourself, and also ask the other person questions, and the other person should be sharing stuff about themselves and asking them questions. This is how you form backwards and forwards communication. You each share something about yourself and ask each other questions. This is how it goes, right? So anyway, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you had any way, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love to know what you think. Write them down below, those thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that great big bell icon so you get notified every time I go live right now or post a new video. Lots of asexual love to you. I'll see you soon. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Bye.